Text is boring, and I want to share with you 5 simple visualizations that you can put inside your text, whether it's presentations, reports, or something else where you're trying to get your message across to make it sound better, to make it read better. So we're going to look at 5 visualizations that are simple. So our first visualization here is a comparison between numbers. As you can see, the numbers are growing from FY19 to FY20. The blue bit, the blue section of numbers has grown as well. And what's being hidden, to me, what I feel is being hidden in this graphic is that the yellow section has shrunk. Whoever designed this graphic didn't want to show that the yellow section had shrunk. They wanted to show that the total had grown and that the blue section had grown as well. So what is it? This is a bar chart. Simply put, you can put this together in Excel, you can put this together in PowerPoint, very simple bar chart, but in this case, it's being used as a graphic, a nice visualization to show that the numbers have grown and the blue part has grown. Now this is an important distinction here between graphics like this, visualizations, and strict graphs that you might find in a scientific paper. So in this case, I took this from a financial report that I'd reviewed recently. This one is just to show, to get the message across about the change in the total and the change in the blue in particular. And to show that the yellow, even though it's decreased, probably hasn't changed that much. So getting the message across is what's been important here. When we're talking about visualizations like this, when I want to share the visualizations in this video, I'm not trying to put together things at a scale. These are supposed to be quick, simple visualizations that you can put together with simple tools to help get the message of your text across in a professional setting. So for example, something like this, we could put it together in Excel. We could put together a nice bar chart in Excel and then modify it a little bit to look like this. Now that would strictly have the information represented to scale. Alternatively, we can put this together in PowerPoint and have the bars as big as we like. As long as we're labeling them with numbers and the proportion is approximately correct, then it's not deceptive and we're getting our message across honestly. So that's the sort of thing I like to do as a professional. I like to save time, but to still deliver my message. I like to be efficient in the way I'm delivering my message, and a visualization like this can efficiently deliver a set of numbers to show how those numbers have changed, to show what those numbers are comprised of. So our second visualization here, also not to scale. I like to use this one to show, it's a Venn diagram, but I like to use this one to show when categories overlap, when there's an overlap between a set of categories. The categories are together and combined in some way. And this nice visualization, this classic Venn diagram, is a good way of doing that. But again, we're not showing that to scale. We're not showing that the blue is significantly bigger than the yellow. Or we're not showing that, we're showing that there is some overlap in the relationship there, but we're not showing it to scale. And I think this is a nice graphic I found. I think I found this one in a financial report as well. And it was a nice representation of how these 3 categories overlapped. So our third one, this is a relationship. This diagram shows the relationships between different bodies, and I did a full video about, this one is an organization chart. And I did a full video analyzing how you can use organization charts as a powerful tool when you're trying to get your message across. Because in my professional experience as a consultant and an engineer, I found organization charts just so powerful for representing relationships and for analyzing relationships as well. The act of putting together an organization chart like this can help you analyze complex relationships within an organization, such as a company, team, or any other sort of structure like that. So organization chart is a great map of relationships. And now you might have noticed there's a strict, I'm following quite a strict order to putting these visualizations together. And the order comes from one of my favorite books called Back of the Napkin by Dan Rome. Highly recommend reading it, but that's where I got the order of these from, because the organization chart is a classic map of different parties. Wherever you have a list of different items, you can create a map like this. If you have a list of different people, you can create an organization chart to show how they relate to each other. And I took that one straight from Dan Rome's book. But how to put this together? PowerPoint is by far the easiest way I've come across to put an organization chart together quickly. There are plenty of graphic design tools out there that will do organization charts for you. There are plenty of online tools that you can use to put together organization charts, flowcharts, anything like. I've tried a few of those, and the last one coming up here is a flowchart, but the online tools weren't so great for it. So I recommend one like this. You can do in PowerPoint quite easily. Drop it into a Word document, or drop it in as a picture even, to any sort of report that you're putting together, and it makes a list of people and their relationships just look that much better. So whenever you have a list of people in your report, or a list of anything in your report, consider an organization chart as a way to represent that visually. as a visual representation, a visualization even. So our fourth option here, our fourth visualization here is to show the progression of time. Now in this case, I've done a little trick with this visualization. I've shown two comparisons of time together. I've shown two progressions of time compared to each other. Now that's this phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and I've also shown April of one year, March of the next, and July of the year after. So I've managed to show two comparisons of time. This is a timeline. And a timeline is used to show whenever there's a progression of time. So if you have in your writing a list of events can be represented as a time. So in this case, we've got our phase 1, our phase 2, and our phase 3 progressing along like that. We've got our years, our standard time as well, our April to then the March the next year to then July the year after. And we've managed to put together this comparison of time between them. We managed to compare these two progressions of time between them. So this visualization, a timeline, a classic way to represent the passage of time, to represent events that happened over a series of time. So how do we put this together? Again, I did this one in PowerPoint. Nice and simple to put together in PowerPoint. Any of those other design tools that you might be familiar with can put a timeline together, but the quickest way to put a timeline into a report presentation that you're doing is just to draw the shapes in PowerPoint. So our last visualization then is this nice process, this step-by-step process of how you can join the Sydney Cricket Club. It was a flowchart I did for I run a website with a friend called Anybody's Fan, and we put together this guide on how you can become a member of the Sydney Cricket Club. And the best way to represent a series, a process like this, is using a flowchart. So this is a flowchart example. Step by step, you have this one option that you can follow, step by step, which includes some weighting. You have an alternative where you can pay this extra, this little box is to pay extra money to skip ahead of the membership queue and join straight away. And the best way to represent those various paths through the process of becoming a member of the Sydney Cricket Club was to draw a flowchart like this. So how do we do it? We drew it with a simple online tool. I forget what it was called, Draw.io, I think. However, I'd recommend doing it in PowerPoint. If I were to draw this diagram again, everything in this diagram except the cloud, I feel could be better drawn in PowerPoint. I'm not too happy with the way PowerPoint draws clouds. But as you can see, the theme from this, one of the themes I've tried to put across in this video is that PowerPoint is a powerful tool for drawing visualizations that you can then include in your reports, in your presentations to make them look more professional. And even though some of these visualizations that we've talked about involve numbers, and PowerPoint isn't a great tool at getting the right scale and ratios correct, when we're putting together a visualization to try to get our message across, having the right proportions is more important than being to scale. So hopefully, out of these 5 visualizations, that's one of the lessons I left you with, that you can focus on getting your message across with a visualization rather than having it the correct amount to scale or the correct steps or anything like that. It doesn't have to be strictly correct. We're not doing engineering drawings. I've done engineering drawings in the past where every little detail has to be correct and to scale, and it's going to be checked by 3 or 4 different people before it's constructed on a construction site. That's not what we're trying to do in a professional setting like this. I'm trying to share the visualizations that will help get your message across. So the 5 visualizations there are the bar chart, the Venn diagram, the organization chart, the timeline, and the flow chart. On this channel, I like to share the sorts of tools, tips, and tricks that help professionals improve their value in the workplace, whether that's by enhancing the way they communicate messages, enhancing their functionality, or by decreasing the resources, making people more efficient at what they do. So my name's Chris, this is Engineered Upgrade, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.